dear students who have given the NDA exam? A very good evening to all the NDA students who had a very important day today, because all their years' hard work has turned into their result time. So today was the time when you all had given your paper, and I'm sure all of you would have done very well. Today I'm here to discuss the GAT paper and especially the English solution. So let us see how the paper was for a minute or so and then get on and discuss certain answers about it. I'll be going through one by one all the questions, but before that, let me tell you the paper was absolutely easy. For all those students who had attended the classes regularly at Cavalier, might be finding it that many of the questions were done in the class and it was absolutely easy for them to clear the exam. And many of the vocabulary, including synonyms, antonyms, and idioms and phrases, were also done in the class. So without wasting any further time, without any further ado, let's move on and discuss the first question. Today I'm here to discuss part C of the booklet. So you all can open your answer question paper and mark your questions accordingly. So let's get to the paper and start with it. The first question that we are talking about here is that we are discussing the antonyms. Now, all of you know what are the antonyms. The first question that was there is, he is essentially a crude person. A crude person means that we are talking about a person who is unrefined, rough, not sophisticated. So obviously the answer would not be coarse, because coarse would be the synonym of it. Eager and balanced are definitely out of the context. So the answer is going to be refined. The next question which says is, his confidence is high. Now, all of us know that if we have done well for the exam, definitely our confidence would have been high. But if we have not prepared for the exam, definitely our confidence would have been low. Now, in case our confidence is high, so eagerness, steadfastness, and endurance would not be the answers for it. So diffidence coming from the word different, where it means that somebody who is low in morale, somebody who's demotivated, somebody whose levels are not high. So the antonym would be diffidence. Let us move on further and see what is it that we are talking about. The next question is, his integrity is noticed. Now, if we look at this, integrity means an integral part. Now, integral part means that we are talking about his honesty, his dedication, his steadfastness. So what do you think is going to be the option for it? The option would not be skillfulness. The option would not be ability. Dependability is the synonym of it. So the answer would be dishonesty. At the next point of time, we have a question which we have done time and again in the class. And while I was discussing root words, I said that benevolent means good and ben means good. So mal means bad. So when we are discussing malevolent, then we know that malevolent is the option for this. So this question, which we have discussed time and again, has been done several times in the class. So the answer is not clever, the answer is not muddled, and the answer is not ambivalent. Let us move on to the next question. The next question is, his sartorial manner is judged. Now, sartorial manner means that we are talking about a sophisticated manner, like we were talking about crude. So the crude question came first of all, so the answer would be crude, and not when we are talking about common, unstylish, or uncompromising. So if you have looked at the first question only and you don't even know the meaning of sartorial, you would have been able to guess out the antonym from the sentence here itself. Let us move on further and discuss further questions. Question number 6 says, this piece of art is authentic. What is authentic? Something which is genuine, something which is talking about something which is real and something which is not fake. So the option would not be genuine, definitely. Expensive, no. Rare, no. The answer would be fake, because we are looking at the antonyms and not the synonyms. The next question is, the deluge affected the population. Now, deluge means there is a huge cloud burst, there is a huge antonym. So here, the cloud burst, deforestation, and drizzle are not the option. Where there is a scarcity, like a famine-like situation, so the answer would be drought. So deluge would be in huge numbers, and drought would be something which is in scarcity, something which is in less number. If we move on to question number 8, his dedication is known to all. Now, dedication, all of you know the meaning, dedicated, sincere. So, option would be where we are talking about the question, his dedication is known to all, and the answer here would be not something where we are talking about clarity, hostility, or anger, but the answer would be apathy. Apathy, like we discussed again in the class, apathy means a person who has no feelings, a person who is callous, a person who is hard-hearted. So the option would be apathy. His perspicacity was remarkable. So the option here would be somebody who's shrewd, somebody who's clever. So smartness is not the option, dedication is not the option, deviousness is not the option. So you are left with the option of dullness, where a person is not so clever in his action, a person is not so active in his action. That is the answer. Let us move on to question number 10. He has a penchant for spicy food. Now, penchant, all of you know, means liking. Penchant means something that you like. So, the option would not be tendency. Option would not be tendency, affinity, or fear, and the option would be dislike. So you see how simple were the antonyms, and I'm sure most of you would have done most of them correctly. Let us move on to the next page and see what is the next thing that we have. The next thing was spotting errors, and spotting errors, all of you feel, has been an area where you feel that there could be a problem or two. So let us discuss quickly what are the questions and what are the answers to it. A company of 5,000 soldiers, having marched tirelessly for over 5 days, have just moved into their cantonment. Now here, if you see clearly, the question says a company. And since we are talking about one singular company, we cannot have the word having. So we have to have a singular verb, and that is why the option is B, and the answer is has marched tirelessly for over 5 days. Having marched tirelessly is a wrong option. Let us move forward and see the next question. The next question says, every person who believes in principles must stand up to fight for their convictions. And all those who attended the classes here might have understood that whenever we were talking about every, each, etc., I said we follow it with a singular pronoun. So here the answer is in C, because this is a plural one for his convictions and not for their convictions. Let us move on further and see what is the 13th question. The 13th question says, the Olympic Games reflects the highest spirit of human behavior and achievement. Now, since we are talking about Olympic Games, so we need to know that we are talking about a plural one. And since we are talking about plural, so the answer should be reflect and not reflects. So the option A is the correct answer. Let us move on further and see what is the next question. The principal of the school stressed the need for discipline amongst the students. Now here we are talking about the principal of the school stressed the need for discipline amongst the students. Now in this case the option is B, because we are talking about stress the need in discipline amongst the students. 4 is the wrong answer, and the answer is the need in discipline amongst the students. Let us move on further. Question number 15 says, failure is the stepping stone to success. Now again I come back to my previous classes, and like I said earlier also, if you have been regularly attending, I have been mentioning the fact that we have to have a proverb or an idiom and phrase which needs to be corrected. So the answer was A, because the answer, this is a proverb and it says failure is a stepping stone to success and not the stepping stone to success. Let us move on further. India's strengths. India's strengths are its diversity of culture and the spirit of tolerance in its people. So the question is not the spirit of tolerance in its people, but among its people. So the answer would be in the third part where the error is in. Now, 17th question considered, once considered 9th planet of the solar system, we are saying that Pluto is today listed as the largest dwarf planet of the solar system. Now, there is no error here, so the answer is no error. Let's move on further to question number 18. The greatest glory in life is to be able to realize one's dreams and ambition. Now, this question again and again, like I said, had been done in the class, and I said the answer was in B, where it's a very small error where you had to put 1'S. I already told you, you will be asked a question on 1. So this is the answer, one's dreams and ambitions and not one's. Question number 19 says to be able to manage one's anger is a reflection of an individual's psychological maturity. So there is no error here, and hence the answer is no error. Question number 20. An honest mistake is no more than that, just an honest mistake. If you look at the question itself, you would have found the answer here because it says an honest mistake. So here you had to replace a with an, where the question is of articles. So you'll see how simple the spotting errors was. And I'm sure most of you would have done it, whoever has attended the classes at Cavalier. Let's move on further and see what is the next portion. Next is the synonyms. After a good meal, it is important to pay a compliment to the chef. Now, when we are saying compliment, so compliment means praise. So we need to praise the chef for his good food. His work is laudable. Laudable means something which you need to be appreciated for, something to be commended for. So the answer is praiseworthy. Let's move on further. Raj is a competent carpenter. Now, competent means somebody who is capable, somebody who is good in work and not exceptional, inadept, or clumsy. Next question is, he is diligent in submitting assignments. And diligent means not dilly-dallying. Dilly-dallying means keep on prolonging things, not procrastinating. That again means prolonging things. Intelligent and conscientious. So the answer is conscientious, which means he is hardworking and assiduous. Let us move on further with the next question. Question number 25 says, he appears to be reticent. Reticent means a person who's reserved, a person who remains to himself, like an introvert. So the answer would be where we are talking about silent and not jolly, expansive or withdrawn. Let us move on further and see what is question number 26. He is always jovial. Jovial, all of you know. So the answer is cheerful. Mohan remains morose these days. Now, if you remember, we did this word again and again in the class, and morose means not in a good mood. So the answer is not chirpy, generous, or introspective. The answer is sullen. Question number 28, which says he was a reluctant learner. Reluctant means somebody who's not ready to do things. So this question, the answer is unwilling. Question number 29, Amit is optimistic about the prospects of his investment. Now, optimistic and pessimistic everybody knows. So the answer here is sanguine, which means very hopeful, and not pessimistic or uncaring or carefree. Let us move on to the last question of synonyms, which says Sachin is very cooperative by nature. Complacent, covert, complacent, and conniving. Now, all those children who might have seen the paper very carefully would have realized that we are talking about this question A and part C, which sound almost the same. But complacent means somebody who's not willing to do things. So this is not the answer. And complacent means a person who is eager to await, a person who's ready to move on to things. So you see how simple the synonyms were. Even if you have a general vocabulary, you would have been able to do. Let's move on further and see what is the next question. Question number ordering of words in a sentence, where we were talking about the first question says there are many ways of dealing with intransient customers. So the option that you are left with is option B, QSPR. What is the next question that we are talking about? Question number 32 says, that we are talking about India achieved remarkable economic development in the years following the landmark reforms inaugurated via liberalization in the year 1991. So the answer is D part and not the other one. The next question is question number 33. Question number 33, which says, question number 33, the answer is C, QSPR, where we are talking about that The answer was that in the arena of sports, perhaps the greatest moment in Indian Olympic history. So QSPR. The answer is QSPR. Let's move on further, children, and let's see what is the next question. Question number 34 says, this was quite easy because it was easy for you to identify that economic progress is determined. Economic progress is determined in terms of GDP and GNP. So that means SP. So the option that you are left with is option C. Let us move on to question number 35. Question number 35 says, RPSQ. Why is it RPSQ? Because it says they can twist and shake their wobbly heads with the aplomb of a stage artist, mesmerizing the gullible into believing that they are not men of straw. So that is why the option is B part. Question number 36. Question number 36 says that on the one hand, there is the immense beauty. On the one hand, there is the immense beauty of its rain-soaked verdure, and on the other, there are the artifacts of its visible modernity. So the answer is RPQS. Let us move on further to question number 37. Question number 37 was quite easy. The causes of extreme poverty are often rooted in the inequalities of social system. So the answer that is there is option A, QRPS. Let us move on to question number 38. This again was quite easy for you to understand the question, where it says that question number, you must not judge a person by the way, and the answer was RPQS. So we say you must judge a person by the way he behaves, and the correct option is RPQS and not by the way he looks. Question number 39. Question number 39. Whenever in doubt, always opt for the option. This again was quite simple. And in case we are talking about whenever in doubt, always opt for the option that causes the least discomfort to the greatest number of people. So option C, RSQP. Last question of ordering of words in a sentence, question number 40. Faith and belief are our greatest defense against Faith and belief are our greatest defense against the despondency brought by bad time. So the option that is there is option B, SRQP. So you see how simple these ordering of words in a sentence were. Let us move on to the last 10 questions and then wind up with our thing. There were idioms and phrases which were done in the class time and again. So I'm sure each one of you would have done very well. In case any one of you has any doubt or any feedbacks, please get in touch with us so that we can take into account your doubts and comments, please. Now, counting your chickens means being careful about spending money. So this means being careful about spending money. 42, the icing on the cake. The icing on the cake, which we had discussed in the class time and again, means that extra benefit over and above an already good deed. Next question is 43, which says a stitch in time saves 9, which all of you should be knowing that it means that timely action that prevents a negative outcome. What is the next question that we have? The next question is add 6s and 7s. Now, if you have attended the classes, you would have found that we discussed it. This was there in our book also and exercise book also, and this was discussed in the class again and again. Add 6s and 7s means a state of total confusion where a person is about to finish it off. Question number 45 says talking 20 to the dozen, which means talking hurriedly and rapidly. Next question is question number 46, under the weather. Now, I discussed this again and again in the class that when somebody is feeling under the weather, I discussed it in the class and I said this is important. It means unwell. 47 means to sit on the fence. That means to be undecided. Question number 48. Once in a blue moon, which obviously each one of you knows. So the answer is rarely. Question number 49. Through thick and thin, which again we had discussed in the class, which means that through difficult times, which we again discussed in the class. And the last question that we have is like chalk and cheese, and I had discussed this question on the class also, and I said very different from each other. So these are the answers to your English part of your GAT. And in case you have any doubts or any queries, please do get in touch with me. And I'm sure all of you would have come out with flying colors. Thank